Let's take a look at Blockly. You'll find Blockly is an online, let me not jump all around here. Sorry, let me magnify this just a little bit so you can maybe see it better. You're going to find Blockly at developers.google.com/Blockly. There are a number of systems today that employ a Blockly-like development environment. You'll find this fairly prevalent in a lot of, technology toys certainly do. Lots of animation, lots of AI. There are many different things that use a Blockly programming language or a Blockly-like language today. So it's a good way to not only learn and focus on some programming techniques, but it's also very practical. So I went to developers.google.com/Blockly. Try Blockly. So you'll see there's something already here. Blockly, maybe as the name implies, is a block language. You see, these are the individual pieces. And what you can do is you're going to find building blocks here, and you're just going to put them out and connect them together. Click. And connect them together. Click. And connect them together. Click. And do that. Build up what you need. Now, for those of us, and we spent some time looking at some different programming languages, here is what's happening in Blockly in JavaScript. You can also see what's happening if I was in Python.
So Blockly is all in script language.
How do you define a script language?
Well, I mean, like Python is script, right, and then JavaScript is script.
Yeah,
It's just or
no.
Can you convert this to like C?
Yes. Yes. So in that sense, no, this is not just a JavaScript type of thing. It's actually, there's a language basis underneath it, and you can actually export your Blockly to other language environments. Yeah, good. Don't let this get in your way over here, seeing it in different languages. I mean, that's fine, but we're going to focus on the Blockly here. So and by the way, I didn't do this. This just came when I ran there. This is their demo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button here, and you'll notice how it communicates to us. Blockly communicates by throwing up a window. The page says, "Hello World." So I'll click OK, and it comes back, "Hello World." And it comes back, "Hello World." And then it's done. Now, when you take a look at the code, you could probably figure out what's happening here. You see in between here this print "Hello World." That's when you say print, it's going to throw up an external window, so you can see that. There's a repeat do clause, that repetition control structure. Start count at 1, increment count, keep doing it as long as count is less than or equal to 3. So this is going to print "Hello World" 3 times, just like you saw. All right. Let's take a look at some of the other features. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag this to the trash can. I'll just get rid of everything to start with, just so you can see the basis here. There are a couple different areas that you'll probably investigate often. The math area and the variable area. You could certainly work with any, but let's begin here with the variable area. Let's create that change the age in people years to dog years. If you don't know, the old saying is, dogs do not live as long as human beings do. I had a collie and a West Highland White Terrier. They both lived to be 15. That's pretty old for a dog. But many dogs, 10 years, 11 years, that's an average lifespan. So many people do this sort of conversion. They say, well, every year that a dog is sort of like 7 years for a person. So a dog that's 1 year old is like little child, and a dog's 2 years old like a teenager, and a dog's 3 years like a young adult type of thing. Well, let's create a program to convert an age in people years to an age in dog years. Now, you can see here that there are this set, this is a set parameter, this is a get, what Blockly returns a get or a return, and this is our modify. And we'll actually see some other ones to that. When you rest your mouse pointer on it, a little balloon help comes up. If that's helpful, great. If otherwise, you won't worry about it. What we're going to do is we're going to create a couple different variables here. We're going to create a variable, let's call it people years. That will be how old, you know, the equivalent age of the dog, right? Let's create another variable. We'll call it dog years. That's the real age of the dog. So notice I say, by the way, you can also, when you drag these things out, and I'll show you that too, you can click this little pull down and it would allow you to change the name of the variable too. But it's just going to be easier to create some variables here. So we're going to begin with some variables. We created people years, dog years. You know what, just for laughs, let's create one more that I'm going to call factor. That will be our conversion factor. That will be the 7. That's the equivalent of, can you see okay? Yeah. Try to hunch down here. The equivalent to conversion factor multiplied by 7. Okay? All right. So I'm going to pull this one. When I pull it out, notice that it gets rid of the math area. Oops, I'm sorry. We were in the variable area. Gets rid of that. It's here on the desktop. Now, I can obviously move this around. I can change things, and I can add. Notice I need to add a piece to that. Okay? Let's start. When I click this pull down, you can see here are the 3 that I created. Oh, dig years. I'm supposed to say dog years. Sorry. Can we deal with dig years, or need to change that? Dig means dog. Factor year. I'm going to change this. Count was the built-in one. I can rename it, or if I don't want that, I can delete it. Let's say factor. Okay. So set factor 2. Now, that was in the variable area. I'm going to go to the math area, and I'm going to pull out this first block here. When I rest it, notice it says a number. Cool. I'm going to pull that out. Good. Now, I'm going to connect it here. You hear it snap. And now I'm going to change the value. I'm going to make this 7. That's our factor. We believe that, see later on if I decided, well, what if it's only 6 years or whatever, then I'm okay. So I'm going to set my factor here to 7. Good. All right. Now, should we do the... don't think we want to. We'll come back if we've got time to take a look at the input. We absolutely need to print things. But let's set our other ones here too. So here's we're going to set my dog years to how old is our dog right now. We just make up some value. Okay. Pop it in here. I don't know. My dog is 3. Boole happens to be 3 years old. She was a rescued dog. She is half Great Dane and half, who knows, I don't know, something else. We thought originally she might have been a lab. And then we were wondering, is she whatever? Because she has a yellow coat. Sorry, don't want to hear all this. So dog years to 3. Okay. Now, people year. Okay, so what is the equivalent thing? All right. So what is the equivalent people years, dog years? Well, let's go to math here. Let's pull out this one here. Now, initially, you look at this and you say, okay, well, I can set a value there, but you know, we don't want to do that in programming, right? We want to work with variables. So let's go back to the variables. Let's pull out a dig year. It's supposed to be dog years. And then let's go to variables again, and let's pull out factor. Okay, great. Now, how's this going to help? Well, if you look carefully, you can see, you know, this is actually a little block. I could leave this as a value, as a number, but I can also put a block in there, and several different kinds. So, sorry, I know with it magnified, it keeps moving around. So let me do this. Boop. Let me do this. Boop. And now what we really want to do, notice mathematically, addition. Nope. I want to do multiplication. So if I connect this now, dog years times factor, to here to people years, now I have an assignment statement. Remember the way assignment statements work. They work right to left. This set 2 is really the assignment. So I'm first going to do this calculation, whatever dig years is, and factor times, and then assign it to people years. Well, right now I have 3 separate statements. I want to connect them together into a program. So I'm going to drag this here, drag this here. Okay, good.
You can't ask the user for an input.
You can. You can do that, yes. Let's investigate how to do that. Let's first of all just output this, and then we'll come back and see. You can ask the user for an input. So now, I've worked in the variable area. There's a lot of different things in this math area, by the way. This is an interesting one here. Remainder of. Returns the remainder from dividing the two numbers. That's kind of like modulo, isn't it? Yep, remainder of. This is exactly the modulo function. It can do some other kinds of things like sum up a list of things or round a value. This change would be used often. Okay. All right. Here you have sine, cosine, tangent, etc., and some other functions here too. Okay. So math standard number, and then the modification. All right. Let's go to text. Here in text, if I go down a little, I don't know why that would be. Here, see this? Print. Okay, I'm going to pull print out. Now, there's nothing really here. It's just saying, hey, have something for me. So let's go back, text, and let's do, no. Print, prompt, okay, sorry. Here's the prompt for a message, and then the input is, where's the input? Okay, I'm going to have to dig through, find where the input is. Sorry about that. So, print, the dog's age in people years is, all right. There's a couple different ways to do this. Let's pull out another print. Doop. And now let's find a variable. What do we want? People years, I hope. Snap that there. Something's bothering me about this. I thought that I had to have, we'll see if this actually works or not. Claims it is. Okay. So what have we done? Our multiplication factor, how many dog years and people years, the age of the dog. I'm now going to compute it in people years, the age of the dog, by multiplying it times the factor. Then I'm going to print out a message. Make sure, by the way, that, yeah, this looks right. Look right to you? All right, so let's run it. Again, the output is going to be done. The dog's age in people years is, got to click OK because it's going to do one line at a time. 21. Makes sense. 7 times 3 is 21. By the way, don't click this. You really want the page to do a pop-up. Otherwise, you won't see any output. All right. Now, Where is the input? I don't know. No. This? Length of list is empty. We looked through text, right? Prompt for text with, oh, it is this, I think. It is this. Yeah, because see, this isn't a statement by itself. This needs to be connected to something. So for example, come on. Rather than setting dog years to 3, let's set dog years to prompt the user for something. So I'm going to select text. Number is what we want. So I'll get rid of this 3. I'll shove this here. If I shove it there, you can't see it very well. Prompt for number with the message, how old is the dog? So I take this prompt. It's going to return a value. However, it's going to return a value into this variable here. So rather than hard coding 3, which I did have, we'll just ask the user. So let's see how this works. Notice we're going to get a text dialog box. How old is the dog? Type in 3. The dog's age in people years is 21. Same thing. Okay. Pretty cool. Good. Now, there are a number of different looping strategies and logic strategies. Let's just take a look at the loop things here. Repeat while. They couldn't listen. Don't do this break out of the loop. Count. Typically, if you know how many times you want the loop to run, or you can put a value there, then this is, in other words, you know you want it to run 10 times, or you know you're going to ask the user for a value, then this count with is a good thing to use. If you're unsure how many times the loop will run, then a repeat while is a better choice. Let me just pull this out so we can see what happens here. Repeat until or repeat while. I can now give it something here. Let me not steal that. Oops. Repeat while. Oh yeah. I'm going to have to put things in here, and then I'll be able to shove that in there. But I'm going to leave this as an exercise to you to figure out how to do this repeat while or repeat until. Oh, yeah, right. No wonder it's not taking that. We need to do this. Sorry. My bad. We need a logical operation. Sorry, my mistake. So repeat until, for example, I don't know, some value is equal to something else, or some value becomes 0, or what have you. So notice I can say equal, not equal, less than, greater than, equal to, etc. So typically you would have a variable on one side. Let's not use any. Let's use count. I'll plug count in here until count less than, and then we typically have a value there or similar, right? Or count equals 0. Now, everything within this will continue until count is 0. You're going to have to handle count outside of the loop. I'm sorry, within the loop, you're going to have to decrease or something depending upon the task at hand. So there's just a tiny introduction to Blockly. I think with that you could create most straightforward things with assignment statements, you're going to have to investigate the looping construct, the repetition construct here a little bit. Now, if you wanted to implement the greatest common divisor algorithm, remember how that works. We've got 4 different variables: larger, smaller, remainder, and GCD. So I'd go ahead and just create those to begin with. And you think about, how is that working? There is a loop structure. You know, in that step 3 there, it's either the remainder is 0 or the remainder is not 0. So depending upon how you structure things here. And then you do the reassignment in the loop. And then this just keeps repeating. And then when you're done, you can output the value that you're looking for. And then one of the key statements that you'll have to investigate is this remainder of. Remainder of, and it doesn't stand alone. That would have to be assigned something. Now, in our greatest common divisor, let me just create a variable. I'm going to call it remainder. We actually called it remainder, right? So however you want to structure this, set this up, good. Variables, okay. Now I'll pull this out. Well, it's actually not going to go there. Don't snap. There. Stop! So count, and then I have remainder, and now I can set remainder to remainder of, larger, smaller, and then we're set. Yeah, that's not exactly it, right? But it's getting you close. Any questions that strike you right now about this Blockly programming language? The key to programming is to, first of all, understand the requirements and specifications. What's the problem? What do we need to do? And then secondly is to develop a design, if not on paper, at least in your mind. It might be too hard to just go from idea to implementation without a plan, without a design. Now, if you were doing the greatest common divisor, Brookshire in Chapter 0 has the algorithm, so maybe that's enough of a design. But I would encourage you, if that's not enough to understand, then add something to it, follow some things through, actually manually compute a GCD so you can see what's happening. Blockly, developers.google.com/Blockly. It's actually a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, we have a couple different systems in the department. We had a demo day in the cafeteria. The department did. We do this every couple weeks, and we were showing a couple different robotic systems. Ozobots, gee, did you work with those? And a couple of other robotic systems, and they are programmed using a block-like language that is really similar to Blockly. Any questions strike you right now? All right. Good for you guys. This is really a lot of fun.